Hello, my friends. In today's episode, I want to share with you a meditation technique. This technique is very important for our growth, our development, and even our maturity as human beings. Now, looking back at a certain period of my life, I think the reason there was a time when I kept stumbling, and this phase even lasted for many years, was that I felt I wasn't really growing. I felt like I wasn't doing anything that made me feel satisfied. Life just went sideways, sometimes backwards, dragging on and on like I was stuck in a rut. It wasn't that I didn't know what I should be doing. Of course, I had some kind of direction. It wasn't that bad. But deep inside, I felt like something was missing in my life. And because of that, I made mistakes. These mistakes were personal failures, not anything huge or catastrophic, but still, they held me back. And you know what it's like. Every year end, when the new year's coming up, you look back at the year and realize you've accomplished nothing. Have you ever felt that way? I'm telling you, it feels terrible. It's a horrible feeling when each year ends and you don't see any real achievements in yourself. It's deeply discouraging. So, why does that happen? What's the reason? There are so many people, myself included, who spent years barely growing, barely moving forward, almost just staying stuck. Where's the blockage? That's really hard to identify. But here's what I realized. The problems inside ourselves are like seeds. If you ignore them, they'll stay as seeds forever. But if you pay attention to them, if you embrace them, if you give them a little bit of care, then at some point that seed will crack open. It will break apart. For anyone who has planted seeds, you'll notice this. A sprout pushes through, breaking the seed open, and then a young plant emerges. And that young plant might just be the solution to life. So I began to think of my problems, the issues I hadn't resolved, the sadness I carried, as seeds. And I looked at them, I noticed them, I embraced them through meditation. When I started practicing meditation, really reflecting on my life, I discovered a meditation theme. And if you give this theme enough focus, enough care, and enough time, it can accelerate your growth. You'll feel yourself maturing so quickly. Your mind will feel so clear. And especially the dead ends of life, those feelings of being stuck, they almost disappear completely. Amazing, right? Really amazing. And since we're talking about dead ends in life, let me tell you, when I discovered this meditation theme, I realized that all the times I felt stuck before were because I was heading in the wrong direction. Once you know this technique, once you know this meditation theme, you no longer crash into dead ends. Instead, you head straight toward solutions. You head toward the open road, toward doors of opportunity, not toward blocked paths anymore. Honestly, it's incredible, really. And let me say this clearly. This episode is not about selling you anything. The excitement and joy you hear from me, it's because I've experienced this myself. And once you've lived through something, once you know it works, once you see it succeed, you naturally become positive about it. You want to share it with everyone. That's all this is. I'm not selling you a course or a book. Don't worry. You'll hear it once and you can put it into practice right away. So, what is this meditation theme? It sounds simple, but it's extremely, extremely important for your life. Here it is. Meditate on the things you feel powerless about. Sounds heavy, right? Just hearing the word powerless can feel uncomfortable. It means the things you can't do, the dead ends. Reflect on those things. Easier said than done, of course. Let me give you an example. This is very, very important. Because if you don't understand this, you'll keep focusing on, aiming for, and making decisions that hold your life back. So here's a clear example. Let's say there's someone older looking at someone younger. Maybe someone in their 30s or 40s, or maybe an older sibling watching a younger one. And they see this younger person staying up too late, playing video games, neglecting their health. Something like that. So, what do you do as the older person? You come to them and say, "Go to bed earlier. Don't eat that. It's bad for your health." Or, "Don't live like that. You'll regret it when you get sick or weak later." Of course, these words come from love. But let me ask you, how often do those messages actually succeed? Honestly, the chances are very low. I've noticed this in so many families. People give advice, but still, the younger ones keep wrecking their health. They might nod and agree in front of you, but then ignore it afterward. And some, more stubborn, will argue back, "Leave me alone. Staying up late is fun." For them, fun comes first, right? So here's the meditation theme. Think about the things you are powerless over, meaning reflect on the situations where you really want to make a change, but you're stuck in circumstances where the chance of success is almost zero, less than 1%. That's what I call powerlessness. When you're doing something with less than a 1% chance of success and the other 99% is failure, that's a dead end. That's ineffective. That's what we need to meditate on. So in this situation, let's stick with the example we were talking about. It's actually pretty easy to explain. Just think about it for a moment. Why is it that you can't convince your younger sibling, or your kids, or your nieces and nephews to take better care of their health? Think about it. The truth is, you've failed at convincing them, right? Right, you've failed at persuading your beloved younger ones. So now you have to reflect on that failure, and that failure is in fact powerlessness. Reflect on it. Why is it like that? If you think about it for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4, 5, eventually you'll recognize the truth. How can you possibly ask someone to save something they have in great abundance? These young people, these kids, they're at the age where they're growing, developing. What do they have in excess? Time and health. They have plenty of it. And you're asking them to conserve what they have in surplus? That's a dead end. You need to identify the principle behind the dead end you're facing and then find an alternative solution. Remember this, really, remember this. And in this case, let me repeat once more. When you reflect long enough, meditation is actually very simple. Reflect on this for 1 day, 2 days, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. Keep reflecting on it and the result will come. That's all. Just reflect every single day and soon you'll realize you cannot ask people to save what they have in abundance. Just like telling someone who has $100 million, "Hey, save your money." Do they listen? No. Don't teach a rich person how to spend money, right? They won't listen. You agree, don't you? Or let's say you see someone with way too much free time, spending their whole day gaming or scrolling on their phone. You come and say, "Go find something to do." Do they listen? No way. You're asking them to conserve what they have in surplus. No, not possible. See, we've already discovered why we were powerless, and at the same time, you've got to practice patience. Step 1. Identify the reason for your powerlessness. You failed because of your approach. Step 2. Find an alternative solution. Step 1 is where you identify the dead end you've been running into. Step 2 is where you turn and find a clearer, open path. So now, going back to the example of advising younger people, I think there are many alternative ways. The key is, are you willing to think about it? For example, at that age, growing up, eating a lot, they care deeply about love, appearance, beauty, right? So here's what I suggest. Just stay quiet. Don't nag. Just observe. Especially with young girls, what's the first thing you notice? Dark circles under their eyes. Too many late nights. And the second thing? Pimples. These are the signs you can use to guide them toward better health. Like at a meal, you put more vegetables on the table and say, "Hey, eating this will make your skin glow." Normally, they wouldn't listen. If you say, "This food is cooling, it detoxes your body," normally they ignore it. But if suddenly they've got a breakout on their face, they might grab that plate immediately. Now, the success rate goes up to maybe 30%. At first, when you said take care of your health or eat better, the success rate was what? 1%. Now, when you connect it to their appearance, maybe it jumps to 30%. Still not perfect, maybe still reluctant, but the chances have improved, and that's already a good sign. Or you could suggest to your younger sibling or your child, "Hey, I see you're breaking out a lot. How about I take you shopping for some skincare products?" And then, before the shopping trip, you text the store. You explain the situation. I've got this younger one, this age, struggling with this problem. Could you prepare some advice? Then, after some back and forth, you say, okay, I'll drop by tomorrow evening around 7 or 8. I'll bring them with me. Could you also give some advice directly on nutrition, lifestyle, sleeping habits? Because honestly, in the family, we've told them 1,000 times, but they don't listen to us. They'll listen more to you, someone in the profession. So could you help me out and encourage them when it comes to eating better, sleeping better, taking care of themselves? Something like that. See? Now, why was I able to come up with this approach? Because I practiced meditation. Step 1. I realized that advising someone to conserve what they already have in abundance was the wrong path. Step 2. I turned and looked for alternative solutions. In my head, it's always running. How can I help my sibling? How can I help my child? How can I help my niece or nephew? Depending on your role, you keep asking yourself, what's the alternative solution? Is there another way? And let me tell you, our brains are amazing. I promise you, if you're willing to keep thinking, solutions will come on their own. Just place the question in your mind. Think about it day after day. The moment you form the intention, the desire for an answer, your brain has already taken on the assignment. Don't abandon it. One day, it will release plenty of ideas, plenty of solutions. Believe me on this. And sometimes the ideas, the solutions that come to you, they're just insanely good. Things you would never normally think of. Like the idea I just shared with you. Texting the cosmetics shop in advance. You see, for example, young girls, they love shopping for makeup. That's literally speaking the exact language they enjoy. But then you quietly come up with a plan. You reach out to the seller first so they can add just a little extra touch that influences the behavior of your stubborn sister, daughter, or niece. I think that's super effective. So now the odds go up, probably by 40%, right? That's it. Every single day you'll start to come up with a new way. Just reflect on your own helplessness. Step 1. Ask yourself, why did you fail? Why do you feel powerless? And step 2. Find another way. I'm telling you, for someone who is willing to think, oh man, the ideas will just pour out. The problems you feel stuck with in life, you'd never imagine that once the solutions start coming, they come in floods. So many that you get tired of them. You'll have more than enough to choose from, and your life will no longer be stuck. Really. So practice reflecting, my friends. Sit down and look at your life. What are the things that make you feel helpless? What are the things you feel you just can't do? Think about them. Step 1. Think about why that helplessness is there. Maybe it takes you a month to figure it out. Who cares? Listen, transforming your life in just a few months or a few years, that's already a blessing. Because I've seen it, my friends. Let me tell you honestly, I've met people again after more than 10 years apart. Work, circumstances, we didn't cross paths for that long. And when we finally did meet again, I had changed a whole lot. But some of them hadn't changed at all. The things they confided in me, the problems they complained about 10 years ago, now, after 10 years, it was exactly the same. Notice this. Some places you revisit and everything has changed. Streets change, houses change, streetlights are brighter, traffic is different. Even families change. More kids are born, generations grow. But some problems, even after 10 years, remain unchanged. Seriously, they stay exactly the same. Like families with domestic violence, it stays the same for 10 years. Or families with someone addicted to alcohol, it doesn't change for years. Or maybe someone lazy, refusing to work. Or someone who failed at something 10 years ago and then 10 years later fails in the exact same way. It's heartbreaking, it's no joke. And of course, there are many reasons why some failures last that long. But honestly, after observing, after paying attention, after being around people enough, I realized one very common reason. They don't even bother to think about their problems. They don't think about their problems at all. So the seed of the problem just stays a seed. It never has the chance to crack open, to sprout. And that sprout, that's the solution. Really, every problem we go through is like that. It goes from the extreme, the peak of helplessness, and then shifts into a new form, if you manage to solve it. You can call it becoming an expert, and it's strange, you know. Before you solve it, you're stressed, you're tense. But once you solve it, what do you gain? You gain experience. You can do it. You gain confidence. And you're never afraid of that thing again. I'm telling you, so many families, once they figure out, for example, how to connect between parents and kids or between siblings, how to show care, how to express and help each other, then everything starts to get better. More kindness, more goodwill, fewer conflicts. An entire family transforms in a positive way. This stuff matters a lot. And here I've only shared 2 or 3 solutions, but if you really reflect, I'm telling you, you could fill a whole page. Like this example, some people go to work, and wherever they go, people seem to dislike them. Now, I don't know what the solution is, but I do know this, that's something worth reflecting on. And many of you have tried to make people not dislike you, and yet you still fail. That's helplessness, right? Then now you've got to think. Step 1. Why am I helpless here? Even if it takes 6 months to find the reason, it's worth it. Honestly, if I were in a state of total desperation, complete helplessness, and someone could tell me exactly why, pinpoint the precise reason why I'm helpless, I would pay $10,000 right away. I mean it. Just to avoid the headache of figuring it out myself. But unfortunately, there may be no one in this world who can do that for you. So your solution, your understanding of why you're helpless, that's priceless. Truly. In the depth of despair, sometimes all we want is just to know the reason. But it's not easy to find. And worse, you can't buy it. No one can give it to you. No one can say it for you. A lot of personal growth, a lot of self-help, it comes down to this kind of reflection. Over days and months. Almost no other way. So don't refuse this task. Embrace it. Because it gives you an advantage in life. It brings light. It opens new paths. And it ends the cycle of you being a slave to your struggles, year after year, month after month. Isn't that enough reason already? Think about it. What's the reason for this helplessness? What's the reason why, no matter where I go, I just can't fit in with people? Well then, start thinking. Day 1, think. Is there some trait of mine that annoys people? Headache, can't figure it out. Day 2, try again. Maybe it's this habit. Still not sure, not certain. But now you've got another possible answer. Or you go ask. Ask someone who dislikes you the least. For example, you send a message. Hey, I feel like people don't like me. You care about me, so could you help me? If there's something in the way I live, in the way I behave, that bothers you, could you please tell me? I really want to change. There, that's how you ask. They'll reply. You'll know. But here's the thing. How can you even take action if you never spent the time reflecting first? If you never decided you truly wanted to know the reason for your helplessness? And what I'm sharing here, that's just scratching the surface. If you think about it for a whole month, you'll uncover a mountain of reasons. Suddenly, your life is overflowing with data. From a place where you didn't know what to do, you become someone who knows exactly what to do. That kind of clarity? Oh man, I'd pay any amount of money to have wisdom like that, wouldn't you? It's invaluable. So if you love yourself, if you want to invest in your life, then invest in reflection. A lot of the frustration with life, a lot of dissatisfaction with yourself, a lot of discontent with the world, it comes down to one common reason. You've lost connection with yourself. You don't understand yourself deeply enough anymore. You don't have a complete understanding of who you are. You're drifting, lost, not knowing yourself. And if you don't understand yourself, how can you understand the world? If you don't know yourself, how can you know what problems you have and what path you should take? You'll be aimless. You'll drift in the void. You'll float endlessly. You'll live a wasted life. But here's the good news. All of this can be solved. And it begins with just one word, reflection. Reflection means digging deeply into life, into who you are, into your own inner world. And one day you'll come to understand yourself so clearly. Let me repeat that. Allow me to emphasize it again. That kind of understanding is priceless. No amount of money could ever be enough to buy it. So, do it. Reflection is not a waste of time. It's not nonsense. It carries tremendous meaning. You're literally enlightening yourself. And my wish for you, my friends, is that you'll see that light, that deeply important, absolutely life-changing light. Reconnect with yourself. Truly understand yourself, not just on the surface, but in a deep and profound way. And I promise your life will never be as bad as you fear. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next episode.